So there I was, just your average bold fraud, wandering the desolate, irradiated Commonwealth. The usual routine, scavenging for bottle caps, meticulously dodging super mutants. Then something happened. Something truly electrifying. Literally. I saw it, a power line sparking and sizzling with an almost unnatural energy. My wasteland curiosity naturally got the absolute better of me. I figured, hey, this is it. The secret, the hidden source. Maybe a forgotten pre-war power hub, a massive humming generator, or an untouched substation that could light up the entire wasteland for centuries. So with all the optimism of a fresh-faced vault dweller, I started following it, step by step. I was fully expecting some epic, lore-rich payoff. Now, I'll tell you exactly where that sparking power line led at the very end of the video. Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for the big reveal. When you first dive into the world of Fallout, you can't help but wonder, where does all the fucking power even come from? Before the bombs dropped, America was a power-hungry beast, especially after the resource wars. Fossil fuels were dwindling, so they turned to the atom. Heavily, massive, imposing nuclear reactors, like the iconic Poseidon energy plant, fueled entire cities and powered virtually every aspect of daily life. It was the shiny atom-powered future they dreamed of, promising clean, abundant energy for centuries, forever breaking the cycle of global conflict over fossil fuels like oil. Corporations like Poseidon Energy and General Atomics were at the forefront, pushing this dream, even if some of their methods were incredibly questionable and ethically grey. They envisioned a world where power was limitless, driving unprecedented technological advancement and consumerism. But then the bombs fell. The Great War plunged the world into an eternal night. In the earliest Fallout games, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, power was barely an afterthought really. The wasteland felt genuinely dark and truly bleak. It was a proper desperate apocalypse. Life was about survival, not convenience. Then came Fallout 3, and suddenly things got a bit more electrified. You start seeing ancient terminals, rusted elevators, miraculously working after 200 plus years. Stuff that clearly needs a consistent power supply. It begs the question though, how? There is a case of a fascinating terminal entry from a Guldo describing how she tapped into an incredibly resilient underground cable line that simply endured the blast. Now it makes a surprisingly amount of sense. Pre-war infrastructure was built tough, designed to resist everything but a direct nuclear hit. Those lines were buried deep, protected by layers of earth and concrete. And speaking of Fallout 3, has anyone else ever noticed how the vast subway system just works? You know what? Miles of dark irradiated tunnels, perfectly lit, perfectly functional, with no visible power source for miles around. Is it some kind of hidden geothermal tap? A forgotten pre-war reactor still silently chugging away deep beneath the city? Or maybe it's just game magic. Honestly, it's one of those silent mysteries that the game never truly explains, but always makes you wonder about the beginning. What the fuck is... What am I doing with this script, man? I'm not feeling the video, honestly. And it adds so much more to the airy atmosphere. Now, Fallout 4, this game, bless its heart, is almost criminal for its power sources, creating more questions than answers. You can find fusion cores sitting in forgotten basements, powering ancient lights, vendor machines, or decades-old terminals with seemingly infinite energy. They just sit working perfectly fine after 2 centuries, no degradation. But then you pop one of those same exact cores into your beloved power armor, and suddenly they're like precious fleeting gold dust, draining within minutes. Official law often states that power armor's micro-reactors were capable of lasting several decades, powering continuous operation and allowing soldiers to remain on the front lines for weeks. So why are they so incredibly inefficient for us, the player? My personal theory is that maybe these power armor cores were still a prototype, quickly rushed out before the Great War with fundamental design flaws that made them efficient for continuous specific tasks, but not for highly mobile, demanding combat. Or perhaps, considering the infamous mass fusion scandal, their fusion cores were a massive pre-war scam to begin with, a clever marketing ploy rather than true stable fusion, a bait and switch for consumers, even the military. And let's not overlook one of my biggest pet peeves, a truly infuriating detail. You pull a supposedly 100% full core from a sealed basement where it's supposedly been plugged in for 2 centuries, the light flickers magically as you unplug it, then miraculously balance out without any visible external power source. What if the actual wasteland is even happening there? It breaks my brain every single time. It's as if the building needs the core for the momentary transfer, but then just finds power somewhere else. Maybe it's tapping into those hidden underground lines too. Speaking of mass fusion, they were touted as a major pre-war power provider, specializing in these distinctive plutonium wells and home-installed junction boxes. Their marketing promised revolutionary fusion power for every home, a clean, endless energy source. But here's the twist. Despite being marketed as true fusion, these things were actually dirty fission reactors, and a pretty inefficient kind at that, giving unsuspecting consumers radiation sickness, as they were powered by plutonium, which they would then proceed to dump in public areas. A massive public health and corporate fraud wrapped into one. The incredible irony though is that the actual mass fusion building in Boston has a legitimate gigantic nuclear fusion reactor that you go inside for a specific mission. Yet, outside of Concord, those plutonium wells are practically nowhere to be found in the rest of the Commonwealth. It's like they just completely dropped that fraudulent product line everywhere else and swept the scandal under the rug, hoping no one would notice the radiation burn. In the current post-apocalypse, say 200 years after the bombs, most humble buildings honestly don't require much power. We're talking basic lights, perhaps a radio, and a few small appliances like a toaster. Large power drains are rare outside of major hubs. Many settlements, like your own, rely on small makeshift generators, burning whatever fuel they find. The constant need for fuel and maintenance is a major challenge for settlers. You also see charming windmills popping up in clean areas, quietly harnessing what little breeze there is, providing a slightly more sustainable option. These represent the sheer ingenuity and desperation of survivors. But then you have truly monumental places like the Glittering Strip in New Vegas or the colossal, still functional Hoover Dam. They're running a massive, enduring pre-war power infrastructure. Remember the battle for Hoover Dam? Control over power was literally a strategic objective, dictating the fate of the Mojave Desert. It wasn't just about territory though, but about who controlled the entire region. And New Vegas even boasts a fully functional solar plant, providing clean, abundant energy for the entire region. Much of this power, especially on the Strip, is controlled or directly supplied by the enigmatic Mr. House, who has clearly maintained vast swaths of pre-war tech and infrastructure, allowing his domain to shine like a beacon in the darkness. And let's talk about Diamond City for a bit, the Great Green Jewel. It's famously powered by a giant, penis? Well, let's just say a very large generator in the center of town, with power cables running everywhere like veins across the settlement. Makes you wonder though if it was designed by a particularly enthusiastic pre-war engineer who just loved grand, massive designs, eh? It's a testament to makeshift ingenuity and the desire for self-sufficiency. It's also important to remember that many large power stations on Earth are purpose-built to resist attacks, natural disasters, and the ticking clock of time. So it's not entirely surprising some would be providing power even after 200 plus years, assuming they didn't take a direct hit from a nuke. This applies not just to power plants, but also to the vaults. How do they maintain power for centuries? Most have their own self-contained nuclear reactors or complex battery banks, managed by the overseer and automated systems to ensure long-term survival. Large settlements like Diamond City wisely choose not to rely on outside energy sources, because a simple act of sabotage by raiders, super mutants, or even the Lurking Institute can easily lead to their complete demise. It's about self-reliance, even if it looks a little unique. What about other major power consumers in the Wasteland? Synths, Mr. Handys, Sentry Bots, Protectrons. They all need power to function. While some might draw from a local grid if available, many, especially advanced models, likely have their own internal microreactors or incredibly long-lasting batteries, allowing them to operate independently for decades or even centuries, as we've seen so far. This is why you see a Sentry Bot still patrolling an abandoned facility or a Mr. Handy still cleaning up toxic waste seemingly forever. Energy weapons also rely on compact, standardized power sources, typically microfusion cells for laser weapons or plasma cartridges for plasma weapons. Essentially miniature disposable power packs, and major factions like the Enclave or Brotherhood of Steel often prioritize control over pre-war power infrastructure or the development of their own advanced power generation. Like the Brotherhood's airships often running on powerful reactors. They understand that power is a major key to dominating the Wasteland. We also find shockingly functional, albeit highly radioactive reactors in unexpected places like the Globe. These places are literal death traps, but their power core just keeps on ticking. Which reminds me, I swear to God, word to bro, I saw a death claw or a farming on top of a mountain there once. Just meditating, absorbing the radiation, leveling up his fucking aura. Totally random, but this Wasteland definitely does some weird things to your brain after a few centuries of exposure to, well, everything. So, back to the sparking power line. I followed so diligently across the Commonwealth, the one I told you about at the very beginning, the one that held the premise of untold power secret, perhaps even a path to rebuilding civilization. You want to know where it led? Absolutely fucking nowhere. It just, literally, I'm not even fucking joking, it literally just cuts off by a bridge and I ran to the other end. It's the same fucking thing. No secret bunker, no generator, no grand revelation, just nothing, a dead end. Typical fucking Wasteland. Truly bugged me to no end. All that anticipation, all that working, all that exposure of the sun to my bald fucking head for absolutely zero payoff. And that's basically, I honestly just wanted to yap about. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not feeling this video. I feel like I'm just gonna release it and it's just gonna fucking flop and have like 50 something views or something. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm recording this at 3 a.m. and I've lost all will to live. I probably gonna hang myself next week or something. But anyways, whether it's nuclear, makeshift, solar, or just plain unexplained game magic, the Wasteland always finds a way to keep the lights on. Usually. It's a world of perplexing power sources, corporate scams, surprising resilience, and frustrating dead ends. It's often frustrating, but always endlessly fascinating, isn't it? If you enjoyed this light and shallow dive into Fallout's electrifying mysteries and perhaps chuckled at my misfortune, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Wasteland wisdom. Don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss my next fucking video. And tell me in the comments, what's the weirdest, most inexplicable power source you've ever stumbled upon in the Fallout universe? Share your theories down below and maybe, just maybe, we'll figure out where all the power really comes from. Stay safe out there, tune.